Welcome to Project Insight's Power Tutorial series. We're excited to introduce a huge new enhancement in how work can be planned and budgeted in Project Insight, What If Simulations. In this session, we'll walk you through how the new What If simulation feature enables you to model alternate scenarios, forecast outcomes, and visualize the impact of changes before they happen. This means you can make smarter decisions around scope, schedule, resources, and budget with confidence. Whether you're evaluating shifting priorities, reallocating resources, or anticipating risks, this powerful capability helps you proactively plan, adjust, and optimize your portfolio using data-driven insights. A few housekeeping notes. Everyone will be on mute. Feel free to ask questions in the chat as we go. This recording will be accessible at the same link that you are joining from now. I'm Matthew Sparks. I'm the Director of Sales and Business Development here at Project Insight. With me is our co-founder and CTO, Steve West. We're excited to show you this significant step forward in project planning and budgeting. Steve, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So first and foremost, this new feature set, just like everything else within Project Insight, is controlled via our add-ons. If you are an enterprise customer, you have the ability to enable any of the add-ons or features within Project Insight by going into that configuration setting. If you have not yet enabled the what if simulations, you can go into the get more add-ons option and then select this and turn that on. Once you have enabled that feature set or this workflow will then work within your workspace as a whole. So just to make that call out as to how we can get this enabled.
Yeah, and welcome. I see a number of our clients from all over the world this morning. We got Ireland and New Zealand and California and Arizona. So welcome, everybody.
Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. And Orange County, keeping it close to the home base there, right, Steve? So
That's right.
really what this feature lets us do is make an enhancement to what can already be done within Project Insight. So here I'm on a portfolio or a project resource allocation report, and this gives me the ability to understand what work, what capacity, what my team has remaining. As of today, the way that this works is I can come into the filter, I can choose whether or not I want to look at just active or active and inactive projects or ones that we may be planning out. And then I can run this report to then understand, hey, what are the impacts of the work that we're anticipating or we're hoping to take on? That's what this yellow represents here is it's an overage based on the anticipated work, or if we see here this little gray bar, again, for that planning state or that inactive work that we're doing here. If I drill in just like I can today, I can get into these projects as a whole. I can see Operation Ghost, which is that planning project, and then I can decide, do I want to say yes and make this active or not? I can click into this particular project that we have in a planning state as of now and go through and make modifications as I may need to on my project plan. That, though, does commit those changes, right, Steve? As of today, if I go in and make these, that's going to then cascade through the rest of the system.
Right, and you've been able to do this the whole time. You can go to the resource allocation or the project allocation reports and decide to bring in what's being planned. But what we hadn't been able to do up to this point is what happens if you're changing a plan that's already in flight, partially done. This is what we're going to be showing you right now.
Right, exactly. So because I have enabled the what if simulation add-on, I now am met with a new option here in the edit feature of what if simulations. This then gives me the ability to either add a new variant in here, and when I do so, I can give it a name. I can make it really simple and just say, hey, what if this project started on this day, or as opposed to where we had originally had it planned out, which was the beginning of the year? Or what if, we move it forward 4 weeks? The other option that you now have is you can create copies of the full task list and then make changes as you see fit there on the task list. So I have option A here, where I can see it has a different start date. This one I'm saying, let's kick this thing off in February as opposed to in January. Project Insights impact indicator, which is letting me know what that change looks like here. That's what this is in representative of, is saying, hey, you're going to impact this entire project based on this change of date. On these plans or these what if simulations, I can come in here and modify this date as I might want to, or really change any component of this task list without actually impacting the official plan that we have in play.
Yeah, that's right.
If
And you can see right there at the top, it's showing you in the yellow bar that you're on your first option. So
Right.
you click on that option, you create the option, click on it, and make all these changes here without having any alerts go out or anything else like that. So, the great thing is you can do all kinds of different things here.
If I like this change, I can apply it right here, right, Steve?
Yep.
If I'm saying, hey, let's make this happen, and that will then cascade into the official task list, the active one that we have working. The other piece that we can do here, and I'm going to click into option B. Now you can see we're looking at option B. It'll also highlight the fact if I'm changing the hours on this plan. Again, this is where the impact indicator comes into play here on these variants, where I can, say, hey, I was at 240 hours, now I'm at 340, right? It's making a quick highlight for my eye to recognize there's been a change compared to that existing plan there. So the
Yeah.
nice thing, oh, sorry, Steve. Yeah,
Well, and you can change the hours on existing tasks, but you can also add
that's
some new tasks here.
exactly what I was just going to say. So what that also lets me do is add in new tasks. I can move the tasks around. I can make any sort of modifications or even change the resources associated with the work as a whole. See how that impacts this particular what if simulation here, right? Just like I can within a project, normally within Project Insight, where I can say, hey, show me the capacity. What does that look like? And then kind of cascade that out. Again, if I want to apply this change, I can do so right from this screen. The other place that I have the ability to apply any of these simulations is back on that resource allocation report. So because we have enabled this new add-on, I'm now presented with a new option here of simulation. What that presents me with the ability to do is to come in here and say, hey, what if I went with option A? Or what if I went with option B? You can then decide if you want to see what those changes look like. This doesn't need to be limited to one project. So if I'm really doing my 2026 prioritization for next year, I can really put all these in play and then kind of toggle them on or off and decide what we want to make those commitments to as a whole. When I select this, I can say apply and then run this report. And that will then apply option A on that particular, what if simulation. It'll show me what that change looks like based on the date range that I've run this. So, you could see here that we originally had planned to start that project at the beginning of January. Now we pushed it out to be starting in February, which actually minimizes some of those overages that my accountant team here had it previously. So that gives me the option to kind of change that out. If I want to look at the first option there, I can come in here, or the second one, option B, I can come in and look at that all the same. This one again has more hours associated with it, with us beginning on the same timeline. So you can see how that shifted these pieces over here.
Yeah, and if you note at the very end there, there's the total change with an indicator of whether you went up or down on any of these impact there. So you'll see that this one we added in option B, we added hours to the project. So the total work went up by 278 hours for the whole team.
That's right. And this concept applies to really any of the general fields that you see here on a resource allocation report. There's no difference in the filter where I can come in here and say, show me PTO or show me what the actuals or any of the other variants, or look at this through a different time lens or scale, or even a different roll up option. So it's really still the same core report that you had within Project Insight, but now I have a significant enhancement as to how I can plan or future, look at future work as a whole.
Right. And what he did when he did that simulation was we ran the report under the covers, the report's getting run regular, and then it's being run again with the changes applied, but not really committed. None of that's committed to the system. So that's why you can have as many simulations as you want on any given project, or you can add more projects in. It's a lot simpler way to bring in the what if this happens and that happens than what you could do before.
Unless I really like that change, right, Steve? If I'm a
Yep,
portfolio manager, I'm looking at, 20 projects right here. I can apply those changes right from
that's
this
right.
rather than going back into each of those individual variants within the project as a whole. So the other place that this what if simulation can be experienced from a report perspective as of today is our portfolio allocation reports. So a portfolio allocation report, while I can have a lot of that same information that I see around my resource, this is often more used for the budgetary pieces associated with the projects as a whole. This particular report I have grouped up by the portfolio and then the programs that fall underneath it, and then I can see the projects that then make up those individual programs and then see how those roll up. I have that same simulation option here where I can click on this. I can have this exact same user experience that I just learned on the resource allocation report, where if I want to say, hey guys, what if we did take on this work and we started it in February as opposed to doing it in, January? I can run that report, show those totals and those priors before as well, and then understand what that project as a whole is going to cost us $104,000 during this timeline if we were to take that on. So, like the other, the resource allocation report, if I want to see different data points or if I want to see these in different time scales, I can just come into the filter and choose what points I'm looking at. I can choose what time scale or even how these are rolled up as a whole. But this again gives me the option to, at a higher level up, look at these changes and make the commitments that we might want there.
Right. Again, so if by shifting that project or adding a new project in, not only is the schedule being dynamically calculated, all of the associated costs are being calculated with their new data points from your choosing that one what if scenario that he chose.
That's right. Or what if I did this one? What are those extra few hundred hours going to do from a cost
Yeah.
perspective, right? I'm going to go up by about $40,000 in my planned, um, you know, uh, costs associated with this portfolio, this particular program, and then I can get down into the granularity of project too if I care to there. So the other place in which this will be released, or that you can do these simulation plannings in the beginning part of the year, is around Project Insight's AI task list builder. So, I may have this variant, but I may want to say, what if I did it a completely different way? What other options do we have? To be released in 2026 is this concept here where I can say generate my task list with AI. What this will do is present an option here where I can say what I am, how long I have to get this work done, what I'm trying to accomplish, how complex I want this task list to be. So I want it to be really simple. I want it to be extremely detailed and complex. I can put in specific phases or structures that I want to be a part of this, what resource types or roles will be involved, and then any key milestones, and then let AI build that task list for us that we then will be able to use in this simulation planning or any plan for that matter within Project Insight, whether that be a template or just to kind of execute on that work if that looks good to us.
Yeah, and this is just designed to help give you a quick, jump start on when you need to build a project plan out. Then you won't have to sit down and manually do it or pull from a template. So if you're trying to develop a new template, this is a good way to get a good jump start, and it'll automatically populate that the project plan for you,
That's
and you
right.
can
And
modify that from there.
that will be actually the next power tutorial that we're doing in January is around Project Insight's new AI features. So please do join us for that. As also in the new year, we will be doing our regular professional development series that will be around simulation planning and scenario planning as a whole. So get some hard tips around, the project management, best practices for how you can do planning, how you can look at different scenarios, and then execute those as well. So we really appreciate everybody's time. Up in the corner of our screen here, you do have a QR code. Feel free to grab that. That will take you to Project Insight's documentation for this particular new what if simulation feature. If you have any questions on how you can deploy this as a part of your organization and you are a customer of ours, please reach out to your assigned success manager. If you are not yet working with us, please reach out to sales@projectinsight.com. We'd love to show you how we can provide a complete picture of your organization-wide work. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.